Welcome, my dear listeners. Stay with me to get the spoilers first and subscribe to the channel. Let's find out what's going to happen on The Young and the Restless. The Young and the Restless, what the real spoilers say about Shelly, Billy, and the baby shock. The rumor going around sounds very dramatic, not Billy. Jill faints when Shelly tells her who the baby's father is. This headline makes soap fans freak out right away because it has pregnancy, paternity, a family bombshell, and one of the show's strongest matriarchs all in one. The verified spoiler trail, on the other hand, is a little more down to earth than the fan video frenzy. What the current news really confirms is that Shelley is pregnant, Billy is all in, and Shelley is hiding a lot of emotional fear. Jill's sudden fainting spell is not the real story. It is the fear of a woman who has already lost a child and now has to deal with the possibility of another life-changing pregnancy, with everyone around her reacting in their own way to the news. This matters because The Young and the Restless has already made Shelley's pregnancy reveal very emotional. On April 15, Soap Opera Digest said that Shelley had been feeling bad and had gone to Audra instead of Billy for help. She then said that she knew the signs well enough to think she might be pregnant. Billy thought she was just sick, but Shelley was quietly worried that a pregnancy test could change everything again. The real dramatic heartbeat here is fear, not certainty. The show is not giving out a neat and tidy family announcement. It is creating a moment when Shelley has to choose if she can handle another round of hope. The scene is so interesting because of how Billy reacts. Soap Hub's April 20 spoiler says that Shelley tells Billy she is pregnant and he immediately thinks it's a good thing and starts to picture their future together. He is excited, helpful, and ready to be a father again. Shelley, on the other hand, is not and is. Soap Hub says that she has already lost a child and is not nearly as excited as Billy because the thought of being pregnant brings up feelings of sadness, fear, and a loss that still hurts. The story's emotional engine is the difference between Billy's hopefulness and Shelley's doubt. It's not just baby news. It is a couple who have both had the same revelation but from very different life experiences. You cannot ignore that history in 2024. Soap Hub wrote that Shelley lost her baby girl Ava, and that loss was such a big part of her story that Courtney Hope won an Emmy for those scenes. The same piece also reminds viewers that Shelley and Adam are heartbroken by the stillbirth and that the trauma hasn't magically gone away just because time has passed. So when Shelley is careful about a new pregnancy, it's not just a random soap opera. It makes sense for a woman whose body and heart have already been through this story to react this way. That's why the rumor that Jill faints seems like it was made up of the wrong kind of pressure. Jill has been in some recent Billy-related storylines. In January, Soap Digest reported that Jill's health had gotten worse in a different story. However, the current pregnancy storyline in April is about Shelley and Billy dealing with the news together. The verified spoiler material does not show Jill falling apart when Shelley talks. Shelley tells Billy the truth, Billy thinks about it, and the two of them try to figure out how to live their lives in a new way. To put it another way, the heart of the scene is not exciting but personal. That also means that the paternity angle is still up in the air and not a sure thing. There are rumors online that Shelley says the baby's father isn't Billy, and the fake teaser posts that are going around on social media really push that idea. But the strongest current spoilers don't say that there is a different father. Instead, the reports say that Shelley and Billy are facing a pregnancy together, with Billy thinking right away that the baby is his and Shelley worrying about what that means for their future. The safest thing to believe until a verified recap says otherwise is that the paternity drama is still speculation, not canon. It's easy to see why the rumor spread so quickly. Shelley's history with Adam, her recent problems with Billy, and the way the show turns emotional shocks into family fights make this feel like the kind of story that could lead to a paternity mess. Soap Opera Digest said before that Shelley had been in London with Billy while he worked on fixing things with Jill. When she got back, she had a big secret. In April, CDL also said that a pregnancy test was coming up and that Shelley might be pregnant with Billy's child. The current canvas has already made the audience tense enough to think about a paternity twist, even though it hasn't been confirmed yet. What makes Shelley's situation so interesting is that her fear isn't over the top in a bad way. It is exact. She has already lost Ava in the 2024 Remembrance piece from Soap Hop says that longtime viewers were still very much affected by the anniversary of that loss. That means Shelley doesn't have the surprise baby energy when she gets a positive test. It gives off the vibe of I know what this could cost me. When she tells Billy that she has already lost a child, it sounds like both a confession and a warning. She's not saying no to the baby. She's getting ready for the pain of loving the baby before she knows if she can keep it. Billy's side of the story is gentler but no less loaded. The April 20 recap says that he brings Shelley comfort food and tells her he wants to be someone she can trust. YNR uses that kind of scene to show our relationship trying to move from messy attraction to real partnership. Billy is not only excited about being a dad, he is also trying to show that he can be reliable, steady, and there for his kids. But the show also makes the risk clear. Shelley is worried about Billy has made bad choices in the past, and Soap Hop says that she isn't sure she wants to spend her life dealing with his problems. That tension makes the pregnancy reveal feel less like a cute family moment and more like a test of whether they can really build something that lasts. That's also why Jill's name keeps coming up in the conversation, even though she is not the one who actually faints in the confirmed spoilers. Jill is the kind of character who can change the mood of any scene that Billy is in. She is a mother who always has something to say, a matriarch who knows when something is wrong, and a person who makes family drama worse just by being there. When fan-made videos and posts say that Jill faints after Shelley tells her who the baby's father is, that rumor is really playing on a bigger idea. If the news about the baby's father is shocking enough, Jill would be the kind of person who would react in a big way. But once again, that's just a guess, not a confirmed April story. The way the April episode is set up also makes it seem like the show wants to keep the focus on Shelley's inner conflict instead of a big public reveal. Billy and Shelley deal with their new normal on Soap Hop's April 20 spoiler, which is a very specific phrase. The story isn't over when the pregnancy test comes back positive. It starts there. Shelley has to deal with the fact that she might become a mother and that she might have to go through the same pain again. Billy has to figure out if he can help her without being too pushy. This is quite emotional soap opera story. It could blow up later if the writers decide to add a paternity twist, but for now, it's all about grief and hope. There is also a bigger story pattern behind this. The current YNR slate is full of danger, medical stress, and family problems, according to Soap Central's recap for April 13 to 17. Nick was stuck in Matt Clark's nightmare, and Sharon was drawn to Vegas. At the same time, Lily was dealing with a shock of Malcolm's illness. That means that Shelley's pregnancy story is happening in a soap opera world full of emotions, where the family's fear is right next to another family's crisis. In a place like that, finding out you are pregnant can feel huge even before anyone knows who the father is. So what does that mean for the headline? The truth is that it is catchy, but it goes beyond what the verified spoilers show right now. There is no confirmed April source that says Jill passes out on screen after Shelley reveals who her father is. What the confirmed material does show is Shelley telling Billy she is pregnant. Billy immediately accepting the news, Shelley being scared because of her past, and the two of them trying to move on together despite that fear. The soap is clearly making people feel tense. It is doing this through Shelley's trauma and Billy's hope, not through a real Jill collapse moment. That doesn't make the story any less interesting. It might even make it better. Shelley's pregnancy is already full of problems. She lost a child in the past. Billy's life is complicated. They might have a future together, and she knows that one wrong move could ruin everything. There will be a lot of fallout if later spoilers add a paternity twist. The story will still work if they don't, because it is based on fear, trust, and the fact that happiness can come with panic. The Young and the Restless does the best job of showing that kind of emotional conflict. So the most accurate version of the story is that Shelley is pregnant, Billy is happy, Shelley is scared because of what she is already lost, and the Jill Faint's rumor is just that, a rumor. The confirmed spoilers say that Shelley and Billy will have a very emotional conversation, not a shocking paternity test or a medical emergency, but the fact that people are already thinking of the worst shows how fragile this new chapter feels. A baby is never just a baby in Genoa City. It is a race to see if the next heartbreak or miracle will happen first. And this is where the story quietly becomes something much deeper. Because this isn't really about a baby, it's about whether Shelley Spectra can trust happiness again. Because every time she starts to hope, there's that voice in the back of her mind reminding her what it cost last time, and the fear doesn't just disappear, it waits. And when you watch Billy abort in these moments, you can feel it too. He is trying to build something stable, but even he knows stability in Genoa City never comes easy. In my opinion, this storyline isn't setting up a loud twist. It's setting up a slow emotional test, the kind that breaks people quietly before anything dramatic even happens. Because of the real danger here isn't a shocking reveal, it's distance, emotional distance, the kind that grows when one person is hopeful and the other is terrified. So now you have to ask yourself, will Shelley let Billy in completely this time? Or will fear push her to shut him out before anything even goes wrong? And here's the hardest question. If the truth about the baby ever does get complicated, will Billy stand firm or fall back into the same patterns that made Shelley doubt him in the first place? Because if I had to make a prediction, this isn't heading toward a simple happy ending. It's heading toward a moment where trust is tested harder than love, and not everyone passes that test. And the most unsettling part, everything looks calm right now, but that usually when the Young and the Restless is about to turn everything upside down. So keep your eyes on the small moments, the quiet conversations, the hesitation, because that's where the real cracks start to show. And if you are already feeling that tension building, even not alone, just wait, because the next move in this story might change everything.